hold on a second. For example, let me play this. This is a white nationalist. And that's another code word. When they talk about Christian nationalism, they're talking about the end of democracy. It's code words. Hold on, here we go.
I have grown to despise democracy is because it's not we the people. It's we the some people. And who are those people?
Some people.
Non-elected officials.
Yeah.
Like the nonpartisan bureaucracy. This is what they're talking about. See, in their Project 2025, when they are attacking the so-called administrative state, what they're doing is dismantling democracy. Make no mistake. They couch it and they wrap it in the veneer of democracy. Like, if the traitor Trump can't get all of his whims fulfilled, unfettered by our pesky constitution or laws, then somehow the will of the people is not being honored, which that the Republicans couldn't give a shit about the will of the people. If that were the case, we wouldn't be under the tyranny of the minority for decades, where they get less votes, where they shove people into the White House despite receiving fewer votes, where Democrats win 1 million more votes in the House and in the Senate, and they still maintain a minority. That's absolutely unacceptable. There's so many things about this country where we can, the problems of this country can be traced to a failure of the media, by the way, frankly. Well, let me continue with this asshole here. His name is, what is his name again? Jack. Jack. What the hell? Where is my folder? He's Christian nationalist Joel Webbon. He looks like a real dirtbag too, right?
Democracy, what it lends its strength to is, instead of having elected officials that have power, is a raw universal, because that's what we have, is a universal democracy. Everyone is allowed to vote, right? Everyone. And just for the
don't you love, and I put that in quotes, scare quotes, how Republicans, right-wingers, these fascist freaks, they wrap their destruction, their attacks on our system of government, that every veteran, every person that ever gave their life for this country, for democracy, fought for. Every person that Traitor Trump disparages with his filthy, disgusting, attacks on anyone who ever served this country, because he can't imagine it. Why would you serve your country when you can serve yourself? This is that's the whole Republican agenda too. But in case, I'm sure you've noticed, even their whole Atlas Shrugged bullshit, their whole philosophy that, what's her name? Ayn Rand, the sociopath, who famously said altruism is evil. These are the people they honor and worship, right? So when you say that, as far as Traitor Trump, the history's going to just look back on him as the disgusting con man, worst thing that ever happened to humanity, that he is. The worst thing that ever happens to this country, just a waste of human DNA. They will, the future will not look fondly on him. But what's it going to say about the sycophants, Traitor Trump's cheerleaders, the maggots, the dumbasses who sent him $5 for his super PAC, his Save America PAC that he didn't even bother setting up. That's how much that's how confident he was and is in the stupidity of the dumbasses who worship him. the NFT salesman, the one who thinks he's appealing to people with darker pigment by selling them sneakers and merchandise with his fucking ugly mug on it as his mugshot, where they love to say, of course, the merchandise says, never surrender, when he's literally in the act of surrendering. I mean, that just says it all. The cognitive dissonance meets the Dunning-Kruger effect, meets a complete meltdown of sanity. How much do you have to hate yourself to make that con man your hero, your god? But okay, and to wrap your attempt to put that dirtbag into the executive office, not as a president, but as a king, to wrap it all in the veneer of some kind of high-minded, I don't know, constitutional scholarship, like this asshole, like Joel Minton. What's his name again? How come I keep forgetting it? Webbon. Why? Who's Minton? Must be somebody else. Joel Webbon.
Yeah, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. I think that because, well, first and foremost, because I'm a Christian.
Unbelievable.
That is the Christian position. Oh my gosh, that you're saying.
Because women are shit, right?
That is the Christian position, is that households should not be divided against one another.
Unbelievable.
So it's not just elevating a male vote, but it's
of course
elevating the
not.
household vote. We're saying,
well, why don't you let the woman do the voting then, and you help her, a little helper role? Oh no, because you got an outie instead of an innie, you're superior. You see, this is Republicans. They hate freedom. They really do. The Republican mind is they're just wedded to hierarchy, and it stems from their large amygdalas. I mean, they've done studies on this. This is not me talking. They have larger fear centers. That's why everything is fear. Everything sucks. Everybody's coming to get you. They're coming to kill you. And democracy is simply too scary and complex, and especially a multiracial liberal democracy where, everyone has a seat at the table. That's very scary to them. Which is why, I mean, you could see how they attack, Harris, they attack Walz. For example, they're attacking Walz for signing a bill that made tampons accessible in high schools. So fucking what? But they're saying, it's tampons are in boys' rooms, boys' bathrooms, and it's very confusing to them because the bill that Walz signed it doesn't specifically say that tampons have to be or dispensing the machines of tampons or whatever have to be in the girls' room, and but it talks about it has to be accessible to anyone who menstruates. Okay, it has gender neutral language. That's very upsetting to Republicans, to people who need hierarchy. They need people to be in their place, regardless of what the people themselves want. If you want to live in a hierarchy, go for it. Go hang out with the goddamn Duggars. Have 19 kids and counting. No one's stopping you. Go be sweet. Be sweet and pray. Right? Go pray in your closet like Jesus told you. But you don't get to tell everybody else what to do. My body, their choice. Which is, I mean, that's, it's just incredible. That's what they think freedom is? The freedom to tell other people that they have to follow the dictates of your sky spook, right? But no, this guy is talking. And he's not alone though. He's talking about how women shouldn't vote. You could find this on that sentiment on all conservative message boards, websites. I just saw something. In fact, let me keep playing this because I want to. I'm going to look up on my
society,
Twitter.
if you break it down to the basic building block, is not atomistic as individuals, but molecular, being households.
See
the way that God sees humanity is He breaks them down.
Okay,
to
so
families.
let's talk about fucking science and molecules, and then throw your sky spook in there. Tell me how the height of arrogance, right, for this guy, for this small, tiny, fragile little man, to try to explain the mysteries of the universe, and to tell us, he's going to tell us what he thinks a giant omnipotent being who knows the alpha, the omega, and every hair on your head, right? He knows everything. Time immemorial. Time in perpetuity. That's the word I'm trying to talk about. But, you know, he's very hyper-focused on whether you have an innie or an outie, or whether you touch yourself before marriage, I guess, or whether you side hug or just handhold when you're engaged.
The way that God sees humanity is
how
He
do
breaks.
You fucking know how God sees humanity. This is what really irritates me about these filthy fake Christians, or whatever they are, whatever they call themselves. I mean, because we all know that if Jesus came back, they'd crucify him again. But that they think they know what God is, that they can ascribe, they know exactly what God says. They're going to translate for the rest of us. And of course, somehow God is always simply a giant version of their own tiny, small, very, very fragile selves, which doesn't make any sense, really. God knows everything, but He cares whether, you know, you masturbate. Right? That's the big issues here. Not about whether everyone has health care, living wages, whether you're kind to people, whether you treat people with decency and respect. No, He wants you to be in your hierarchy, be in your place. You know, this democracy is against God. This is what He's saying. Well, He's against His God. And you got to watch out for these right-wingers, because, you know, it's not them. They're just doing what their God tells them. There's no difference between them and the terrorists, you know, these Islamo-terrorists they constantly talk about. They're looking in a mirror when they're talking about people like that. These are the same kinds of people. If they had their way, you want to talk about make America great again, this country would be living in the dark ages. We would not be a shining city on the hill. Far from it. Be some backward ass theocracy where women are shit, where little fragile men, they work out their manias on society. Everyone's in the closet, right? Everyone who's gay, everyone who's trans, people are in the closet. People hate themselves. They want to kill themselves. That's what they want. Forget kindness, compassion, just humanity. People, being themselves, creating music, art, doing what the fuck you self-actualize. Whatever you think, your blip of time, this blip of time on this planet that we share together, they want to tell everybody else how to live it. It's so outrageous. And then to turn around and tell us how they're patriots and they love freedom. Please.